Good morning. So as I said in my last video, I'm going to be doing a weekly summary of the Lucy Letby trial. Let's just remind ourselves of the situation. Lucy Letby is now 32. At the time of the alleged offences, she was 25, 26, and she was working as a neonatal nurse in the Countess of Chester Hospital. She has been charged with 7 murders and 15 attempted murders of 10 babies, so potentially 17 victims. She's on trial at Manchester Crown Court. So remember, murder is an indictable offence. Attempted murder is also an indictable offence. These are the most serious offences. They are always going to be heard in a Crown Court. The jury will be deciding on every single count. So they have to reach either a verdict of guilty or not guilty. And there will be 12 members of the jury. They've been given iPads so that some of the evidence is going to be electronic as opposed to paper copies, and also they can make notes because the trial is expected to last for 6 months, which is an awful long time, and your employers have to give you time off. However, they don't have to pay you. The children are not going to be named. They are going to be referred to as child A, child B, so A through to Q. Now, Lucy Letby was arrested, first of all, in July 18. The alleged offences are said to have taken place between 2015 and 2016. So she was arrested 2 years later, and then she was released on bail. She was re-arrested the following year in June 2019, again released on bail pending further investigation. And then finally in November 20, she was arrested and charged with the 7 counts of murder and the 15 counts of attempted murder. She is pleading not guilty to all of those charges. And as you know, the prosecution have the burden of proof. They have to prove beyond all reasonable doubt that she committed those offences. So the jury must be sure. If they are not sure, if they have any doubt, then they have to acquit her of the charges. Now, she has been remanded in custody pending the trial. So that means that she stayed in prison. She hasn't been out walking around in the streets. Either that means that they think it's too dangerous for her to be out in public and the public need protecting, or maybe they're doing it for her own safety. So I'm not quite sure which it would be. This week, what has happened? Well, a summary of what has happened. Essentially, we've had the prosecution giving their opening speech and the defence giving their opening speech. So we haven't even started questioning witnesses and cross-examining them. Nick Johnson, KC, so that means he's a King's Counsel barrister. They are senior barristers. Up until recently it was a Queen's Counsel barrister, but now they are King's Counsel barristers. He is the prosecution barrister, and there will also be a junior barrister working with him. He is setting out the prosecution's case, and he is saying, well, the cause of death is Lucy Letby. She was there when these babies died, or when these babies nearly died. That is the common factor. The death rate had gone up at the hospital, and when they looked at who had been working, Lucy Letby was working. They are alleging that one of the babies died because they had air in their bloodstream. They are also saying that 2 babies were injected with too much insulin and another baby was fed too much milk. They're also going to introduce evidence that she sent sympathy cards to the families of the babies who died and that she looked them up on Facebook. The big bit of evidence that they said they will be discussing are the post-it notes that Lucy Letby allegedly wrote. So they have posted this in the press. There are pictures of them online and in the newspapers of her writing, and they've said things like, I did it, I'm not worthy, it's my fault, all these kinds of things. So this is what the prosecution, when they get into the trial, are going to be focusing on. Then what happens is the defence speak. So the prosecution have done their opening speech. Later on Wednesday, the defence barrister, Ben Myers, KC, started outlining the defence for Lucy Letby. He said that there were other deaths and Lucy Letby was not on duty at the time, and this is a massive coincidence. He's also saying that the hospital is understaffed and that there were many failings and they are trying to blame her for it. And it's just one big coincidence. She trained hard, she loved her job, she loved children, and he counteracted the post-it notes by saying that on the post-it notes, she'd also protested her innocence, and these were the thoughts of a young woman who is being accused of awful things, and it just shows how distressed she actually is. They then finished yesterday by having a medical expert speaking in court, and he explained he's been a paediatric doctor for 40 years, and he explained what a neonatal unit looks like and how it all works so that the jury can visualise where Lucy Letby was working. So next week, presumably, the prosecution are going to start their case, and they will call witnesses and they will speak to those witnesses, and then the defence will stand up and cross-examine those witnesses. So it's going to be a very, very interesting trial. Lots of legal issues are going to arise. So keep posted, keep subscribing, keep watching the video.